As we're going through the fifth chapter of Nedarim, we're going through these really awful situations that people get into themselves when they swear not to have benefit from someone else. But we are also, throughout this tractate, throughout the Masechet, just examining issues of language and what language means. And so we'll see these two themes overlap in the upcoming Mishnayot, questions of language and really questions of consequences. Let's start off. Well, let's just jump in. All these Mishnayot start in the same way. Hamudar hanaya mechavero. So Mishnah after Mishnah starts. Hamudar hanaya mechavero. Someone sworn not to benefit from his neighbor. They all start like this. And then they start articulating these cases. Maybe he has nothing to eat. Maybe he's on a journey. Maybe they have a shared courtyard. Whatever. There are all these situations. And now we're going to get into questions where ownership is not quite precise. So, Hamudar Hanayama Chavero, someone swore not to benefit from his neighbor. V'yesh lo sham merchatz uveit abad muskarin ba'ir. And he owns a bathhouse, or a beit bad is a press. This is probably an olive press. And it's leased out in the town. Now, the Mishnah isn't clear as to who he is. Yeah, someone swears not to benefit from his neighbor, and someone v'yesh lo sham merchat, someone owns this bathhouse. It's not quite clear who owns who. Let's just carry on. Let's just carry on going down. Im yesh lo tfisa yad bahem. If he has an interest in them, in other words, if he's leased them out, but he gets a share of the profits. Effectively, he still owns an equity. We would say in today's financial engineering terminology, he still has an equity stake in it. And if he's got an equity stake in it, asur, it's forbidden. I think the sense seems to be that if the owner has an equity stake, and someone swore not to benefit from him, has made this oath, he can't use the bathhouse or an olive press in which the owner has an equity stake. Or maybe it goes the other way around. Maybe the person who's sworn maybe goes the way. I think that's the way it goes. I mean, possibly it goes. It did occur to me that it goes the other way around. That the person who has sworn not to benefit owns the equity stake in the bathhouse, and his neighbor therefore can't. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. I think that's the case. That the neighbor owns the bathhouse, he's got an equity stake in it, and so the person that's sworn can't benefit from it by using it. But if the bathhouse or the olive press are just leased out flat, ein lo tfisat yad bahem. If it's just a straight lease, he's got no equity interest, mutar. That is considered effectively, the ownership is considered transferred. The person that's made this oath can still use the olive press or the bathhouse. Let's look at another example of, if you like, possibly difficult to interpret language. Someone says, Kunam, let me be a sacrifice if I enter your house. I can't enter your house. Or if I purchase your field. So he swears he's not going to enter the guy's house or purchase his field. Mate, and then this guy, he dies. So if he dies, we presume that his heirs inherit the field or the house. Or maybe he sold it to somebody else. He sold it to someone else. In other words, it's no longer your house and your field. It's someone else's house and someone else's field. And the Mishnah rules he's permitted. Mutar. the vow doesn't hold because the ownership of the house and the field has changed. But if he swears, Labayit hazeh she'eni nichnas, if I enter this house, v'sadeh zo she'eni lokeh, or if I purchase this field, so he swears on field rather than on your field. Mate or shem charon lacher asur. That oath is permanent, so the owner can die. He can sell the field to someone else. He can sell the house to someone else. It doesn't make any difference. The oath still holds. The oath holds forever. What if he says, Behold, I am cherem to you. In other words, I am like a consecrated object to you. Mudar asur, the one besworn, the person he's addressed this statement to, the one he's essentially put the oath on, is forbidden. This person can't benefit from him at all. It's a very uncomfortable thing to do to your friend, to say, behold, I am cherem to you. This guy can't essentially benefit from you at all. Hare alai cherem. What if he says, you are cherem to me? Well, in that case, the person who makes the oath is forbidden. Hanoder asur. Yeah, the one who makes the oath is forbidden from deriving any benefit. And we could do it both ways. Hare ani alecha ve'at alai. What if he says, I am a cherem to you and you are a cherem to me? So they both end up forbidden to benefiting from one another. Very, very uncomfortable situation. And clearly this is going to apply to private property. But we might ask, just as we asked about the shared courtyard, can someone walk over a shared courtyard if he's forbidden from benefiting from his neighbor? What if there is shared property in this town? So, for example, what about communal property? What about the town square? I mean, can he walk across the town square? And again, you can see we're in a very uncomfortable position if you can't do that. And the Mishnah is going to rule, it's going to outline a general principle which will be explained in more detail in the next Mishnah. So we'll come to it in the next Mishnah, but let's just look at the principle. Both of these who have sworn not to get benefit from one another, they're both permitted the things that belong to those who came up from Babylon. Gosh. So there's certain public property in the land of Israel that actually belongs to the whole of the people of Israel. And effectively, I guess this is a takana of Ezra. When the people returned from Babylon, these objects were designated to be in the possession of the people of Israel as a whole. And we'll see what these objects are in the next mission. But there's always a but. But they're forbidden the things that belong to that town. So town property is considered the property of the shared property of the citizens of that town. It's caught by the vow. National property. Effectively, the things that belong to those who came up from Babylon, that's national property. And that somehow is not considered, it's not considered sufficient, close enough to the shared property of the people in the town that it's caught by this kind of vow.